Hi, this is Mandy with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today's class is Database Overview. If you are watching live, please drop your questions in the chat. If you are watching this archived on our YouTube channel, please know that you can always reach out to us with questions at support at scottleroymarketing.com. All right, and we'll be happy to help you get those answered. So, with today's class being Database Overview, this is where all of your data lives within your command for all of your contacts, your sphere of influence. I'm going to go over and show you not only the back office of these types of things with your contacts tab, I want to show you all the different features that are back in your settings that usually aren't touched, but I want you to know that they're there. I'm also going to show you how to get your contacts added into command, how to export copies of them, going to get into all the tags and organization, some editing as well, just how to manage your sphere well. And so just want to let you know that we'll cover all of that today. And I'll reference our YouTube quite a bit just because a lot of the things you'll see me do today, we have tip videos on them where you can go and keyword search our YouTube channel and it'll pull up tip videos to show you some little things that I'm going to go over today as well. Okay, and so on my screen, you can see right here that we are already logged into our command, and on the left-hand side are our little icons. They used to be called applets. They are now called tabs. So you'll hear that a lot. If you ever hear that interchange, they're talking about the same thing. And if you're not familiar with your icons just yet, you can always hit the red KW at the top and it will pop out the names for you. So the first thing that we are going to go into today is we're going to go into contacts, our contacts tab. I just want to show you where it is located, and then we're going to jump into the settings and then come back over here in just a second. All right, so just so you know that this is located right here, this is your contacts database. This is where all of your contacts will live, okay? And we're going to go in depth in this area today. This is what we're focused on. Over here on the right, I want to show you your back office settings for this. So right where your name and your photo is, if you give that a click, you'll have a settings in the drop down menu. Choose that. This goes back into your command settings. We'll let that refresh here for a second. There we go. And guys, if my screen seems too tiny, just let me know. Let me pump up the font just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. And so with your settings, you'll notice over here with command settings, if you give that a click, anytime you see the carrots, these little arrow looking things, we call them carrots, that usually means there is a hidden menu there. And so you can always give that a click and it's going to pop down more information. So these are some of your command settings. Right here under contacts, you'll notice we have another caret. So we're going to expand that as well. And it gives you some options back here for your contacts. The first thing, let's click on Contact Archive right here. There we go. Sorry, guys, for the pause. So this is your contact archive. So if you ever need to take your contacts out of your contact database, there's actually a two-step process. The first step to remove them is archiving them. So they move back here to this contact archive. And then if you ever want to permanently delete them, you can do it from here. Or if you ever need to restore them back into your contacts tab, you can do that as well. You'll notice over here on the right, you have a restore button and you can do it individually, or you have a trash can where you can do it individually and permanently delete them. If you ever need to do it for more than one, you can always click more than one, and you'll notice two different options pop up here in the top right. I can restore the selected ones back to the contacts tab, which will put them back into my contacts database, or I can delete them permanently and it'll delete the ones that I've selected. You do have a search feature here at the top. Definitely want to use that if you are trying to find something in your contact archive, as these will not be in here in any particular order. You can see that the date is here, but actually if you move through, you'll notice we have almost 3,000 sitting back here. If you move through, you'll notice the date changes. They're in no particular order. They're not even in the order that you actually archived them in. So you can adjust it as far as alphabetizing goes, alphabetizing. whatever the right word is to use there. You can put them in alphabetical order. There we go. There, I'm getting my English out here. So you can choose that for first name and for last name. However, again, not going to be in order by the date or by the time you put them back here. A good thing to know about your contacts archive is that when you archive a contact, it will shut off any automated marketing that you've created. Let's say you've set them up on a smart plan or anything like that, or a campaign. It will terminate that and end it as soon as they go into the contact archive. If you go to restore them from the contact archive back into your contact database, your contact tab, whichever you prefer to call it, you will need to manually reset those up. Okay. Once they're in the archive, the system is going to see it as I should not reach out to this person anymore, and it will stop those automations. Okay. So just so you guys know that. I- Also, if you ever have any issues with importing contacts into your command, if you're seeing that a lot of the contacts are failing and it's saying that that information is duplicated within your contacts database, like an email is already on file or something like that, chances are it's something back here in your contact archive. You may have archived those contacts, however, you didn't permanently delete them. The system is still seeing them there and it's trying to prevent duplicates. So just know you might want to check back here in your contact archive if you ever do see that on one of your imports. Okay. And next, we're going to move right down here to the database wipe. Now, if you are on a team, this may look a little different. You may not have permission to actually access these buttons. So they may be grayed out if you're on a team. And when I say on a team, I mean when you click on your name up here, you would have another account. You would have a team profile right here on that tab. If you're an individual or solo agent, you will not see this and you will have access to these as a solo agent. Okay. So archive all contacts. It means all of your contacts living over here in your contacts tab would then immediately be moved to your contact archive that we just looked at. That means all marketing, all the automated marketing would be terminated. All the contacts would go here. There is still an undo button for that. Remember, you can still restore. However, it will turn off all that automation in the marketing that you've already set up. Delete all archived contacts. This is a database wipe. This will permanently delete all of your contacts. There is no undo button, guys. Please, please, please don't hit this button. If you're even thinking about hitting this button, reach out to us first. Talk to us. There may be an easier way. So just know that anytime you work with your contacts and with your database, we always recommend exporting a copy of your contacts first. That way you have a record of them. And, God forbid, if you do happen to hit this button by accident and you've deleted everything, then you will be able to re-import them. And I'll show you how to get that export. It's super easy. We'll get into that when we jump into the contacts tab. Okay. All right, moving on to contacts tags. It's one of my favorite subjects. So the tags are a way to organize your database. If you can think of a way to identify a contact or a group of contacts that you want to be able to market to or reach out to, or for any reason reference those tags, then make a tag for it. Okay, so you can see in here that it's the tag name, and then you can see who they're created by and when they were created on. See the pencil on the far right, that means you can edit, and the trash can means you can delete. Now notice that my mouse is not changing when I hover over this option on a system created tag. This means it's created within command already, and you can't edit them or delete them. Okay, they're always here. You don't have to use them. You don't have to assign them to any contacts, but you can change them. The ones where you see this particular agent has created, then my mouse changes when I hover over the pencil. And I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but the pencil and the trash can are a little bit darker than up here. They're grayed out. But then I would be able to hit the edit, come in here. I can change the color. I can change the name. If you edit any tag that's already created, any contacts that are under that tag that already have that tag assigned to them within your contacts database, they will automatically be updated too. So if I come in here and change the attorney tag to orange instead of blue and I hit save, any contacts with that attorney tag will now have the attorney tag be orange instead of blue. Okay. And then also if I came and deleted this tag, any contacts with that tag, let me let somebody in from the waiting room, sorry. If you hear me pause, guys, that's what I'm taking care of. It's just letting people join us from the waiting room. So if any contact has a tag and we delete it back here, it will remove that tag from all the contacts. Okay. All right. So you can customize these as much as you like. They do change between a personal profile and a team profile. So just know the tags on your team profile are going to be a little different than the ones here on your personal. The teal tags, just FYI, the system tags I was talking about, they usually appear in teal, but so do some of the ones that you can create as well. If you want to create them in that same color, you can. These tags are going to help you filter through your contacts. When we jump into the contacts tab, I'm going to show you filters. It's the way you can find things in your database. Think about it as your filing cabinet, and these would be the little tabs on the folders on your filing cabinet. So you would be able to filter. And the more you can filter, the more precise you can be in organizing your database and also marketing to certain niches or certain groups of people that you would like to market to. So get specific with your tags. You can't overdo it, in my opinion. I absolutely believe in creating as many tags as you possibly can so that you can filter and organize to the hilt. Okay. All right. Next is lead. Well, lead management, we're going to skip actually because this is for teams. I was going to go to lead sources next. Lead sources. This is where that lead came from. It's one and only source. So you can have one lead source per contact. I recommend making a tag out of it, guys. The filters works. Now, granted, we just had an upgrade in filters, but previously before this upgrade last week, it was a little difficult to search through lead sources and it be super accurate. So I actually would encourage you to make a tag for the lead source as well. But you can sit here and come through and look through the different categories. It offers you different categories of lead sources. You can also search and type in as a text field which source you're looking for. You can create a custom source back here as well. If you want to put in the realtor banquet, if you guys have a board banquet every year or whatever, you can come back in here and put it in. And then choose the category like events that you would want it to fall under and create that custom lead source and just hit create afterwards. So you can come back here and be creative if you would like. You can see the setup is very similar to the different tabs that we've already been on. You do see that pencil and that trash can again on the right hand side. It's grayed out because they are systems. So if we scroll down, we can show up to 100 in this particular area. Let's see if this agent has created. Yes, there we go. So this agent created a lead source called family, and you can come in here, make an edit or delete that as well. Okay, so just a little bit of the maneuvering it back here showing you how this functions. And that's about all there is when it comes to lead sources. Just note that lead sources also feeds into your reports tab. You have a reports tab over here, shows you the numbers and the performance of your particular business in command and the things that you've been doing. And so you can come in here and check that out at another time for the reports tab, but having lead sources on your contacts feeds into that. So it can actually show you where your database is coming from, where you are getting the most leads and the most business. So kind of nifty. All right, let's move on to custom fields. Now, custom fields. Fields are going to be on the contact profile within the contact tab. And what I mean by that is a field would be like first name, last name, primary email, things like that. It's a field of information that you have collected about this particular contact. Now, we have a gazillion of them in the contacts tab, and I'm going to go through all of them with you. However, there's sometimes that you will need to create a custom field for a particular piece of information that you like. Maybe it has to do with your specialty in real estate. Maybe it has to do with an event or a way that you like to appreciate your sphere of influence. A lot of agents tend to do like a pie giveaway or something like that. And you can see right here that we've already created a custom field for pie giveaway so that we can see what kind of pies our customers would want, our consumers would want, and have them ready. I'm actually going to use that one as our example. You can again see this is the general layout of the tabs that we've been on. Pencil, trash can, if you want to remove them or edit them. These are all created by the agent. None of these are created by the system as far as custom fields go. And you can also search right here if you had a ton of them. But I want to show you how to create them right here with a custom field. You can create the field name. and this is probably going to bounce back on me and not create it for us because I've already created it. But just for an example, the pie giveaway, and what kind of field type would you like it to be? Yeah, it's dinging me. Let's see. Let's just add a number on the end. There we go. All right, so the custom field. This is what kind of field it will actually be. Is it going to be a text field where I can type in any different pie, any kind of pie that I want? Or do I want it to be a drop down where I can actually choose options? Probably going to choose drop down for this because for a pie giveaway, you don't want to have 500 different pies. You're probably going to offer two or three. And so I would want that person, that consumer, to choose one of the three that I will have available for them. So you can choose drop down field and just begin putting in your different options, however many you want. Let's say we're going to go with three on this one. All right, cherry, apple, and pecan. Can't tell I'm Southern. That's what we do down here is pies. And so we'll go with these three different pies right here. Notice that I can delete them over here if I need to, change the text in them if I need to, and I can add more if I need to. And out of that drop down, just know you have other options that we're not going into today to actually choose so that you can make that field exactly what you would like it to be. It does give you the option to make it a default custom field. Now, I'll show you this more in detail in a second. It'll be easier when I can show you on the contacts tab, but just know that if it is not a default custom field, that means it's not going to be an empty field on every contact profile that you add to your database, okay? It won't be there. You can always add it. You can go through a step of adding a custom field and it'll open something similar like a drop down menu that will show you all your custom fields that you've already created and let you select which one you want for that particular contact. And you can add that information then manually. However, if you think that this is something you are going to collect, like a piece of data that you're going to collect for all of your database, then I would recommend making it a default custom field. This means it will show up on every single contact within your command, and you also can import your contacts with that field. So you can have a column on your spreadsheet named pie, and if you had all that information on there, it will import that information as well, same as it would with their name and email and things like that. You wouldn't have to manually update that field later for just a few people. If you know you're going to have it for everybody, you can just make it a default. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't, and I'll try to explain it a little further. For now, we're not going to make this a custom default field. We're just going to create it because I want to show you how to manually add it to a contact just in case you need to. And you'll notice the green banner of success letting us know that that was added, and you can see it right here. Okay. I'm actually going to delete the one I had previously, because I'm using it on a contact. It will give you that pop-up saying that you cannot do it. It'll protect you from losing that data, which brings me to my next point. If I come in here and choose to edit a custom field that has already been created, let's say on that pie giveaway, I actually didn't want it to be a drop down and I wanted it to be a text field. So I'm going to change it right here and hit save. Any contacts that currently had that custom field on their contact profile and I'd already gone in and filled in cherry, apple, or pecan for them, that data would be lost. It will remove it from the contacts that already have this field filled out if I come back here and change it. So just know that because it won't have the drop downs to choose from anymore, I'm changing it to a text field so it wouldn't have that information to put in there. So just know that if you come back here and start editing custom fields, it will change the contacts that you already have this on. Okay, you may lose some data, just FYI. All right. All right. And so next, we are going to jump into my logs. It's a little further down right here, my logs on the left-hand side. If we hit the caret for that, you'll notice it separates it into import and exports. Imports are contacts coming into your command database. Okay. You'll notice over here we have status, the date that you started the import, the date that it was completed. Sometimes if you're working with a mega database, it may take a little while for it to import. It'll show you, since I've got my screen zoomed out a little bit, guys, it's making me scroll over a little bit. Here we go. So with the contacts imported, it tells you how many were imported, how many failed, and how many were total on the spreadsheet. Okay. Great way to come in here and check. When you do an import, After the import, you will get a notification up here at the top. See, perfect. So this gives you an idea right here, the contact import that we did yesterday. It will tell you if it partially failed. This means that if any of the contacts on the import did not fully import into your contact database, they're going to give you a notification right here. And you can always download your log if you would like to. This is the same thing. If I click off the notifications, right here in your error file, it will give you a file and it will show you the reason that that contact failed for every single one. They're usually located in the far right hand columns, starts around column BG, and it will list off the reasons why that particular contact did not import. Sometimes you had the birthday formatted wrong, or maybe you had a phone number on there that's already being used by a contact in your database, so it won't import it because it thinks that you're trying to create a duplicate, stuff like that. So this is a great place to come back, check that error file, correct anything on there that needs to be corrected, and then you can try to re-import them, the ones that are on the error file, and you can get them put into command that way. It also gives you an option to access that original file if need be. Okay, super handy dandy. Also, good to note with imports, reach out to us guys if you need help with them. As long as you have your contacts on a spreadsheet like an Excel file or a Google sheet, something of that, even a numbers file will be fine for all you Mac users. We just need that file along with your command username and password, and we can actually help reformat and import into your command for you. Saves a ton of time, guys. And just know that we don't scrub databases. Let me make sure I put that little plug in there. We will not go through and delete duplicates or make sure that you have the right phone number for Joe Bob or whatever, because we don't know your database and we want to ensure the accuracy and precision of the information that you've given us on that file. So just know that we don't scrub it at all. We literally do copying, pasting, and some reformatting, tweaking, things like that that need to be done just to make sure it imports smoothly. But we can save you a lot of time by doing that. So just let us know if you need help with that. Next is exports. These are contacts going out of your command, okay? This is exporting a copy of your contacts. When you export, it does not remove that contact from your command database. It actually is just putting a copy of it on a spreadsheet for you, okay? So you can come back here, see the export logs that you've done, when you've done them, how many contacts were on them, and also download that export file right here, okay? You'll notice you can show up to 100 on that page as well. I'm sure you're getting familiar with the arrows and the carrots, so you're familiar with those, okay? All right, so that is it for the back settings within your command. I want to jump over to the contacts tab now. Again, we're going over here to the left of the icons, little person in a box. When you hover over it, it says contacts, or I can still click that red KW. It'll pop out the name and I can click right there on contacts. So it's going to take it a second to get this opened up. And again, this is your contacts tab. You'll hear me call this your command database or your contact database, contacts tab, all one and the same. It's right here. And I want to show you the type of actions that you have available. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to start pretty much left to right, move across the screen, show you all the different ways to maneuver this. And then we're going to jump into that favorite part, that filters, was showing you how to work through filtering your contacts, managing them and organizing them. Okay. All right. And remember, if you have any questions while you're watching this live, definitely reach out to us in the chat here. I will answer them as I go or at the end of class. And if you're watching this back on archive, you can absolutely email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. All right, as you can see, this is our contacts tab. We have contacts listed in the chart here. On the top left, you'll notice a search feature. When I click on it, it opens that drop-down menu. I can search by first name, last name, email, address, or everything. We recommend keeping it on everything. I could come in here and even just put in the last four digits of a phone number and hit enter, and it's already going to populate. It pulls apart that phone number to find those digits, okay? You'll notice that I have an email address over here. Well, if I was trying to find somebody with the email address that I can only remember part of it, I can only remember that it has test in it, well, I can type that in. It's going to pull all the contacts that have test mentioned somewhere on their contact profile, including in their email, okay? So just know this is a super handy dandy feature. If you can only remember a portion or a particular part of the name, this will help you. Next are filters. We're going to jump in depth. These have just been updated. They are super handy dandy, but I'm going to go in depth. So I'm going to skip that button just for a minute, but this is how you filter through your contacts to sort them. Okay. Next is a smart view. This is how you can create a smart view whenever you open your contacts. If you want it to show a particular view every time or save a particular view, you can create a smart view so that you don't have to come in every single time, set up 5 filters to find, let's say, leads that are in here that you need to have a real estate conversation with, and they're not branded to your app. So you need to come in here and see if any new leads have populated that you need to have a conversation with, and also get them set up with your KW Consumer mobile app. So you can set up a view for that so you don't have to go through the filters every single time. I'm going to show you this in action in just a second once we jump on filters. So let's move over to the right. Over here on your right, this is how you add contacts to your command database. Over here on the right-hand side, you can click import. This is importing more than one contact at a time. This means you would have it on a spreadsheet. You can either download the template right here within command. If you ask us for the blank template we use, this is what we're going to send you, is right here, the download template. It already has the columns headings in place. So I actually think it's a great tool to use just because it will have columns that you probably haven't thought of gathering that information for contacts. So it gives you some ideas of what to talk about with your contacts, what information you may need, and just to be able to fill it out and add that the more data that you can for your contacts. However, if you use your own spreadsheet that you've made your own columns with, that's perfectly fine too. You can actually upload from there as well. It's going to look a little different. Instead of importing directly in, it's going to ask you to map columns. It's going to try to match the columns on your import file to its own template that we have right here. It'll try to match them together. That way it makes sure what you are calling a first name, it's calling a first name, and what you're calling a tag that you may want to create for those contacts, that it's also labeling them as a tag. Okay. So just know that that is an option in here. Guys, your data is super important. It does get a little hairy if your import does not work properly or you happen to make a mistake in mapping those columns together. Highly recommend leverage us. Let us do this for you guys. It'll save you a bunch of time. So reach out to us and we can help you with imports. Okay, so I'm going to close that window. Next is to add an individual contact. I'm not going to go into these fields just yet. I want to show you how to do it when I actually am on a contact, and I can show you how to edit these fields and change them around. Okay, update them, things like that. So just know if you want to add one individual contact, this is the pop-up window to do that. There's the little teal button, okay? Notice 3 dots over on the far right-hand side. These are your export options, guys. If you click that, you'll notice 3 options. If you are on a team, please know that you may see 6 options instead of 3, especially if you are a rainmaker for a team. You will see all of those options available. If you're just a team member, it may gray out some options and only have 3 available. Just know that's 100% normal. And it does have to do with if you toggle over to your team profile instead of your personal. We're on this agent's personal profile. And so you'll notice that they have 3 options. And the top is export all owned contacts. That means every single contact in this database that is owned by this particular agent will be exported. A copy of it will be exported onto a spreadsheet. If I were to click export a copy, you'll notice we get a green banner. And if I refresh my page here really quick, you'll notice the notifications. If I refresh, there we go. I'm a little too quick with my mouse today. So you'll notice the notifications go from 5 up to 6. That means it gave me a notification about my export. It's right here and I have a hyperlink in it. I can immediately just click download. It marks that notification as read. And over here on the left-hand side, you'll notice that my file downloaded. You may not see yours at the bottom. It depends on your browser settings. It may go into your downloads or have something up here in your top right-hand corner to show you where it was downloaded. It's however you have your computer set up to move your downloads to wherever you have it. Okay. So know that you can export all of those. The next 2 options are for mailing labels. If you want to do mailing labels, highly recommend doing the first one first. It's showing you that it will export it into a CSV file. That stands for comma separated value. Think of an Excel spreadsheet. In fact, it is a type of Excel spreadsheet, and this is editable. So if I want to go in and make sure, if you have over here on the left, you can see that Joe Bob sample and Sally sample are in here. Well, what if they're a couple? What if they're married? They live at the same residence, maybe their father, daughter, or something like that instead, or maybe you just have roommates that are living in a house, but they're sharing the same address. Well, you want a mailing label, only one for that particular address. So you can form a relationship in your contacts, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. That way, when you go to do mailing labels, you can make sure it's one label for that household. So, highly recommend exporting an editable CSV version of it first. Look over it, make sure that each household is only printing one label. Make any changes you need to, and then you can come in here and actually export the PDF that is not editable. Okay, that is fixed text on a sheet. That's what you would already print on, maybe the labels themselves, things like that. Okay. So just know your export options are right here under those three dots. Now you do have some customization when it comes to how you are viewing your contacts. You'll notice right here it says customize columns. If I give that a click, not only can I choose the columns I want to appear on the left-hand side, I can actually reorder them over here on the right-hand side. So let's say I actually want to, let's see. Okay, so individual agent, I don't need to see who owns them because I own all of them. But remember our custom field, maybe I want to see who has the pies showing up. So I can click a pie giveaway since I knew one of the contacts already had that pie filled out. And over here on the right hand side, I'm just going to drag that up. I want it to be the first column that I see. This is super handy if you are coming in here to lead generate, and you want to be able to see the contact's name first, which is always in the left-hand column, but maybe I would want to put their primary phone, oops, excuse me, primary phone and slide it all the way to the top so that I will instantly see their name and then their primary phone. I can even put recently active if they were active on my app, or I can even say when was the last time that they were updated, things like that. You can make a lot of choices in here of what you see when you come into your command and how you want it set up. So I'm going to hit apply. It's going to update those columns. You'll notice now we have our pie giveaway, and we can see Joe Bob is the one I had that on because he likes cherry pie. And then you can also see primary phone moved over here to the far left so I can see that burst off. Okay. So you can customize them any way you would like. You'll notice a caret does show up for some of the columns. Tags, you can't sort alphabetically because it really goes on the contact in the order that you added those tags. So it doesn't alphabetize those. However, you can come in here recently active and move it to show the most recently active at the top and in descending order. And you can flip it the other way. There you go. And you can see the one that has the last date on there as well. Okay. Next is the way that you view this. You'll notice we're on a table view. This is where they almost like a spreadsheet as well, kind of an Excel. They're in rows, they're in columns. You can choose the table or tile format as well over here on the right. Spaces them out a little more. It's just personal preference. I actually do not care for this way because I can't sort my columns. I want to be able to sort my columns, be able to find who I'm looking for in my database and be able to move quickly and leverage my time well. So I don't use this, tend to like the table view over here, excuse me. The table view is here to the left, tile view to the right. Sorry, I think I called tile view table just a second ago. But just know that you have the option to do that. Over on the right, this is important if you're working with a large database, guys, and you start coming in here choosing to do bulk actions like you want to do 500 contacts and add them all to a smart plan at once, something like that. You'll notice we're only looking at 7 of 7 right here. But if you had like 3,000 in your database or higher, you can choose this teal button right here where it says show, and it will let you see up to 500 contacts. As long as those 500 contacts are showing right here, so I would be seeing 1 through 500 of 1,000. let's say right here, then I can come in here and select all. It would select up to those 500 at a time. You'll notice a bulk action menu opens up right here, and you have so many actions that you can take with your different contacts. You can add an activity. You can add a note and it would add them to all of them. You can add tags, bulk add tags to lots of contacts here. You can add them to an email list, which has to do with the campaigns. We do have an additional class on campaigns, guys. Highly recommend checking it out. Also, you can add them to a smart plan. We also have another class based strictly on smart plans overview. You can add them to a smart plan so that you can start drip campaigns for all of your contacts within your command so that, again, you're leveraging your time and your efforts. So your command actually is the one that's emailing you, creating tasks for you, texting your consumers, even scheduling phone calls or reminding you to do a handwritten note, all kinds of things back there in smart plans. You can also archive. Remember, we looked at your contact archive. You can archive in bulk as well. Change account. This is again if you're on a team and you want to move your contacts from your personal account to your team account. Please know this changes things. There's a whole lot involved with that as far as, how you would move forward with your opportunities and your smart plans and things like that. So reach out to us if you have any questions. We can send you some good information on that. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I had to let somebody in the waiting room. Okay. And as we move along here, you'll notice that you can also export. Same things as we were seeing in the top right-hand corner with the three dots. You can export all the contacts that you just selected. Maybe it's not all the ones you owned, but it's just the ones you've selected here. Okay. And then you can also export mailing labels right here and export mailing labels as PDF. Just know that first one is going to be the CSV we talked about, comma separated value, the one that you can edit. The one you can't edit is the PDF. You can mark them as leads if you want to. This will put a tiny L beside the contact name. You'll see it right here. See the tiny little L in the teal circle that's marked lead? It would put a lead on these contacts, and it's a good indicator. It just lets you know, hey, I need to have that real estate conversation with this person. Okay. You can also remove that L once you've had that conversation and they're no longer just a lead. Okay. You can remove tags in bulk if you would like. If you have Twilio set up and connected to your command, which is completely optional, you don't have to have Twilio, but if you do, this is how you would send a text message through command, and you can do it in bulk right here, or you can do it through your smart plans. Then you can share a copy. This is a little different, guys. It's literally like you writing down a contact's name and number and handing it to somebody, and then they're going to put it in their phone. Okay. So just know that it's not going to be something where you can keep tabs of if they are communicating with them or not. Okay. It's not going to update your contact within your command. It's literally giving that information to them and they can do whatever they want. It's sharing a copy with them, but then it's out of your hands. Um, and just so you know, unmark as a lead, that's what we were talking about, where you can mark them as a lead and then you can unmark. Okay, so that's your bulk action menu covered right there. I just want to show that to you. You can do the select all button here, or you can select one at a time, skipping a few, and it is what makes the bulk action menu appear right there for you guys. Okay. All right, so now you'll notice I didn't go over the three dots at the far right. This is where you can make some edits and some changes. If I click those three dots, you'll notice that we have some of the similar options that we just saw in the bulk action menu. However, this is for that individual contact that those three dots are beside. So you can edit the contact that way. You can add an activity. You can make a copy of that contact information and share it, add the note, archive. You can even view the smart plans, add to a smart plan, or mark it as a lead for that individual contact. I usually do not use these a lot over here on the three sides because you can get there the same way just by clicking on this contact and jumping into the contact profile. That's going to be the last thing we cover today. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. I want to make sure that we cover all the filters right here. So we're going to travel back up to the filters button and click that. Now we have not only filters, but you'll notice we have advanced filters on the top right, guys. This is awesome and fantastic. This is new. Let me minimize some of these so you can get the full effect and actually see. Here we go. Now you can see all the different filters that are here that you can filter beside. And I'm going to jump into the advanced one as well because I want to show you some of the awesome things that are back there that you can now try to organize your contacts with. It lets you do so many things that we couldn't do just as of a week ago. So sorry if I'm geeking out over this, but it really is amazing. Okay. And then over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and click advanced, and then we're going to come back to the filters. So I just want you to know what it looks like if you switch to advanced over here instead of being on the basic. You have three different fields. Okay. On the left-hand side will actually be the name of the filter. And then you're also going to have a condition field right here that it includes any, all, excludes any and all. Maybe the field's empty or it's not empty for the particular topic that you're looking, the particular filter you're looking to apply. And then over here on the right is your value. You can add whatever you're looking for. So let's say agent site connection. Okay, this is a perfect one to use. Agent site connection. I want to know if this person has created a profile either on my website or my KW consumer mobile app because the login for each one of those is interchangeable. The same login that they make on your consumer mobile app will also work on your KW agent website. I want to know if they've created that or not. So I'm going to say, have they connected that way yet? So I can create that filter. I can even add an additional filter. Maybe I want to know who has created, or let's do who's not, who has not created their own profile on my website or my app, but maybe, oh, I've got my screen zoomed in. Give me a second, guys, so I can make sure that you can see all of this. There we go. So it went down all the way to the bottom. Maybe they have a certain tag. Maybe it's a lead source that I'm looking for, um, or a different contact type that I can search for, but I can create any number of filters that I want right here. So maybe I want to know who has already, I'm going to change this to connected, who's already made that profile on my app or on my website. But when a neighborhood is on their profile, I want to know if that field is empty. If they don't have a neighborhood on their profile, what this is going to tell me if I applied this to my contacts right now, it would tell me who I can set up on a monthly neighborhood nurture or a bi-monthly neighborhood nurture where it's a smart plan, and it would just email them stats on their neighborhoods or any neighborhood they have of interest. It would email them as long as there's a neighborhood on their file and they've already created that login either to my website or to my KW consumer mobile app. So I can sit here and filter by those, find out which ones need to have neighborhoods added to their profile, and I can get that done so I can get them set up on that. Okay. Just know that this is super handy dandy if you're coming in here looking for specific things. You can also delete the filters over here on the right. And if you want to do like a birthday smart plan to remember to celebrate people's birthdays or home anniversary, you can come in here, click home anniversary, and say, hey, who's missing that home anniversary on there? And you can apply it and go and search. Okay. I think I've explained that. Let me know if that is not super clear to you guys, and I will make sure I go back over it. But I just want you to be able to see that now one of the biggest things is if it excludes information. We used to not have a way to find contacts that did not have tags. So you could find and sort through all the contacts in your database that did have tags, but what if you missed tagging somebody? Well, now you can come in here to tags and actually say excludes all tags or is empty. And so you can select that. Maybe you want it, there we go, is empty. So tags are empty. I could hit apply and it'll finally show me those contacts that have no tags. Very great way to make sure you're fully reaching everyone in your database. Okay, I'm going to switch back to basic filters now. It's going to ask me if I'm completely sure. I'm going to say yes. And so now I want to show you all the different ways that you can filter right through here. Okay, the first is going to show you um, the contact type. This is if you want to see all your contacts, contacts only, or leads only. So if you want to see leads only, remember the tiny little L that I showed you? This would be a great way to come in here. And if you've had any consumers enter their information on your website or maybe a landing page, maybe through a Facebook ad that you've run through campaigns, something like that, where you've captured that lead information, they will populate within your command database right here with a little L right beside their name. And if you wanted to come in every day and just check to see if you had any new leads, you can hit leads only, okay, and apply, and it would show you those within your database. So you can choose that if you like. If there's certain tags that you want to sort by, you can also select as many tags as you want, start typing in a certain tag if you would like. It'll even show you if you don't have any matches for that or not, or it'll show you all your list here as well. And so I'm going to minimize that so you can continue to see down the list here. Lead source, remember we talked about the lead source of where those leads are coming from. You can also come in here and choose if you want to see just a particular lead source. Also, agent site connection, I just talked about that. Again, that is whether they are connected not through your KW website or your KW consumer mobile app. By the way, we have classes on both of those topics. Highly, highly recommend. If you are looking to personalize and really connect with your consumers while they are searching for a home or listing their home, highly recommend checking out the consumer mobile app course that we teach, the tutorial, because it'll show you all kinds of fantastic things. But this is where you can select those contacts of whether they or not they have that, okay? Also, the teams lets you see even more of that. Maybe that if they're associated with one of your team members, not just you, okay? Over here on neighborhoods, um, with the neighborhood, we talked about that. Usually the neighborhood will pull from the primary address that is on file for that contact. But let's say it's actually a seller, not a buyer, and they actually not only want to get an update on the neighborhood that they're currently in to see if there's any competition coming on the market, but maybe they want information about the neighborhood they want to move to see if there's anything that comes new on the market where they're headed. You can actually set more than one neighborhood up on that contact profile, and it will actually, if you set them up on a smart plan for the monthly neighborhood nurture or even maybe a saved search, you can get those emails out to them, or the system will send them to you. Excuse me, let me say that correctly. The system will send the email to the consumer for you, but they have to have a neighborhood on file to get those monthly neighborhood nurture emails. And so you can click here and choose if you want to see your contacts that have neighborhoods or that do not have neighborhoods. Okay. And so I'm actually going to come back up here really quick for agent site connection. I want to know who is um, connected to my agent site. When we create this filter, I'm going to show you a smart view, how to create that smart view. So I just want that set. So moving back down, recently active. These are folks that have recently been active on your KW site or your consumer mobile app. And this will let you filter longer than, within, last, and then how many days as well. Okay. And you can also, the advanced filters include the same filters that you're seeing here in basic view, just FYI. For some of these, they offer more features, like we can get into that exclude option, remember, or with the empty field. So just know that, that you have some more options in the advanced for each one of these filters usually. If you're coming on down, we have the date it was created. Maybe it's the date that you just modified that contact. If you knew you made a recent change, but you can't remember who you updated, you can come in here and look through modified. Last contacted is a great way to see the last time you interacted with that contact. It does include any email sent through command mail, like a smart plan or a campaign. Maybe you sent them a text message through your command as well, anything like that, or even interactions that you've logged manually on that contact, like, hey, I happened to run into them at the grocery store. So you added that activity to their timeline within command. It will actually pull from that as well. So you'll be able to see when was the last time you connected with them. Birthday, home anniversary is here. The company they might work for. If you're maybe you're trying to grow your downline and you are actually interviewing other agents from other agencies and other brokerages that you may want to recruit over to KW to be in your downline, you can actually sit here and make sure that you are filtering people from that certain company so you can reach out to them. Just as an example, primary address, primary phone, and primary email are also listed here within your filters. So please know that is all located right here. You can reset the ones you've chosen. You can clear all, or you can hit apply. I'm actually going to apply because I want to show you. It looks like we have one contact that is marked as a lead. So their information was entered into either our website or entered in through our consumer mobile app, maybe a campaign, something like that. And also over here on the right, the little check mark, this is what it's telling me is that they have made a connection. They've created their own profile either on my website or my mobile app. And that's giving me a little check mark to letting me know that that's here. So I've been able to filter based on the leads and whether they are interacting on my agent site. Maybe I want to see that view every time without having to go through the filters, right? So you can actually come up here and create a smart view. If you scroll to the top, it gives you the option to create a smart view. You can name it. You can even set it as the default, which means it would be the same view that you see every time you log into your command database, which I don't want to do today. And then you could save that. Or you can come up here to your smart views again. You can manage them, delete them, redo them if you'd like, or you can choose one from the list that you've already created. If you've come in here, you know, every morning you're going to be lead genning. So first thing when you come in every morning, you want to make sure that you're looking at your leads or people that do not have your app yet. So those are conversations that you know are easy peasy to have. You want to see those contacts first. Create a smart view, set it as the default. That way, every time you open your command in the morning, you are ready to go with lead generation. So I hope that makes sense on those filters for you. So just let me know if not. Let me know if you have any questions. We're going to jump in now to how to edit a contact once it's already within your command. We're going to go back here. Let me go back to our regular view. What I did is I went in and chose a smart view, which shows me the contacts that I like to have open for class. And so those are the ones that you are seeing right here on your screen. Remember, I told you the three dots on the right-hand side, you can come in here and edit that way, but I really want to show you guys by clicking on the contact itself. It will open it up. On the left-hand side, you will see information about that particular contact right down here. Let's scroll all the way down. You can even see the relationships to other contacts within your database, see their birthday, home anniversary, things like that. You can even see the neighborhood on file for this particular contact. You can always add a neighborhood right here by typing it in. You can even find it on a map. If you hold the control key down and zoom in or zoom out, you'll notice the green areas. This person lives in a pretty rural area, but you can see some neighborhoods around them. Let's say they want to move over here to Mount Jackson. So we're going to click that one to have it add to their neighborhoods or even Lacey Spring. And if you want to undo it, you can just unclick them. And this is how you would add or unadd a neighborhood to a particular contact. Just hit save. You'll see it update right here. And just FYI, guys, this copy link right here that it gives you for this particular contact for the neighborhood that's listed right here, I can come and drop that into another tab really quick and it'll give you a neighborhood snap. You can email this out to your contacts or send it to them in a text, whichever you would like to do. Set up a smart plan for them to receive it, but it's going to show them the neighborhood of their choice right here and show them all kinds of stats about that neighborhood, including listings. Guys, pretty handy dandy. Let me jump back over to contacts really quick. Our class is wrapping up. So on the right hand side, I just want to show you quickly, you have a timeline for this contact. And so with this timeline, you can actually see the things that you've done with this particular contact. Add them, subscribe them to a neighborhood, added them to a smart plan. If you scroll down even further down at the bottom, you can see maybe some smart plan emails were undelivered. It would show you that here. Okay. And if scroll back up, I can see any opportunities associated with this contact right here. I can also see their smart plans, any tasks associated with them as well, any notes, and any saved searches. Just FYI, you know how in your MLS portal you can create a search, like somebody's looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath with garage. Instead of having to bounce back and forth and keep a database in your MLS portal and in your command, just do it out of your command. It's right here under saved search. We have a class that covers this. It's actually the KW Consumer Mobile App class. Goes over saved searches. We also have tip videos on our YouTube channel to show you saved searches, but you can leverage that within command and it will send them updates on the market as often as they would like, instantaneously, once a month, once every other day, whatever you would choose. And you can set that up here within command. If you want to make an edit to this contact, notice the pencil right here and the three dots. I'm going to click the three dots first. This is another way you can add them to a smart plan, change the account if you want to move it from personal to team, resubscribe. FYI, every contact is going to have this resubscribe option, guys. It does not mean that they've unsubscribed from your emails. It's on every single one, okay? And you can archive from here as well. If you want to edit the information, click the pencil. Notice this looks a whole lot like that window that popped open when we were going to add a single contact, but this is how you would go in and edit the information that you have for that particular contact. We're running out of time a little bit, but I want to come down a little bit and show you that you can add more information, and you can come down here and it gives you three more options. There's tons of information you can add. Primary street address is a biggie for a lot of realtors. This actually pulls straight from Google. If you are trying to type in the address, it will start giving you suggestions and locate that address for you. And you can mark it same as mailing, which will help you whenever you are maybe doing direct mail outs through your campaigns tab, things of that nature. You can also add social profiles for your contacts right here. Fun fact, even if you don't have their social profile linked right here on their contact profile, if you want to target them in a campaign, as long as they've set their social media up with the same email address that you have on file for them, you'll still be able to target them in a campaign, which is pretty great. The about information gives you even more options, another notes field and things like that. Just briefly going through this with you guys, you can add more relationships if they're related to more than one person within your database. And you do have custom fields down here. Remember, we were talking about adding that custom field? You can always click add. It's going to give me a drop down. And these are all the ones we saw back in the back that we were looking at for the custom fields. We can select it and add it to this person, and you give that you get that drop down feature so they can choose whichever pie that they like. Okay. And this is where you would edit your contact. We can hit save there. It will update that information in real time for you. And that's how you would edit a contact. Well, guys, our class is over. It is after 2 o'clock. I appreciate you joining us. If you have any questions and you're watching live, please stick around. I can answer those for you right after class. But if you're watching back on archive, please reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com and we'll be happy to get all of those questions answered for you. Thanks for watching.